Oh yeah, sorry. I think the rest of them are AFK. I'm just kind of typing out a message here. Sorry.
It's all good. I haven't played a game in so long that I really enjoyed until I played Gris.
Have you already finished it?
No, still playing Thread.
All right, I'm back. What's up?
Spell it.
With the G, Gris.
How about that
Griswold.
Sanic? All the Sanic memes that have been going around. I guess there's a new movie coming out. But I can't tell if the movie's a joke or not.
What?
Sonic?
Oh, Sonic.
Yeah, have you seen that? Everyone's sharing like movie posters that look totally janky.
I haven't seen that, no.
Oh,
I
so
don't know.
let me see if I can get a link.
I saw some of the pushback, but my feelings about it is indifferent. I actually worked on it. Worked on
Oh,
some
really?
robots. Yeah. I designed Sonic. I'm just kidding. Yeah, but
The original.
yeah, oh, screen froze.
Well, the internet's going to town on it before it's
Yeah,
out.
they always do, man.
They're talking shit about the poster because it looks.
Yeah.
Eh. Oh,
Well, I
here we
mean,
go.
what did you expect it to look like? It's live action Sonic.
Can I share links in here? I should be able to.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a long link. If you click that, I think you'll get to the picture.
Pictures.
Yeah.
This right here.
Look at the legs. Look at the legs of Sonic. They're broken.
What? Just looks like a
No,
little.
no, look, you gotta look closer. Look at his right leg. It's like way thicker than the left leg. The anatomy's all off.
Are his legs crossed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's just a perspective thing. It's the whole long neck problem all over again.
I disagree. I saw a post some artist did on Facebook, and they're like breaking it down and ripping on it. I think it was Darren Yao. What's his name?
That's so
Aaron.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
This is a poster that I saw. Yeah, it just looks like it was just a bad.
I mean, we had a bad we had a bad poster with the long leg on that one video game movie.
Yeah, Ready
People
Player
still
One.
like that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, that one definitely too. Yeah, and I don't really care.
You never care.
Yeah, I've
I'm
never
not
cared.
surprised.
Yeah, I've never cared about public outrage. As you
You know
probably-
what? You know I like drama.
Yeah, I don't. And so
I-
like especially that stupid stuff. I think it's stupid to spend all that time
That's what
talking
makes it
about.
more entertaining.
Yeah. I think it's better time spent on just make it's funny that you mentioned Darren did that, because Darren's the same kind of person who talks about getting to work. Instead
Yeah, no, he's completely devolved into like sharing memes and
now
joking.
he's just a meme dude. Yeah.
Oh, I see. It's like one of these games.
Oh, you're talking about Gris. You're like, yeah, I don't care about Sonic either.
Very
So,
pretty.
back on topic.
Yeah, I think no, it's fine. I don't want to talk about Sonic either. Like,
It's fine.
yeah, people talk trash about every movie, and almost the ones that weren't the trash come, in my opinion, after the movie has been out. That's usually where I start to be critical, because in the movie, this is what they did agree that it's supposed to be, regardless of how you perceive the poster. Yeah, I think short of making the characters look exactly like the the way we see them in the video games, I think people can never truly be happy, you know, or the way that they just imagined them as kids. I remember the same thing happened with the Transformers franchise, and that franchise wouldn't have made like 18 movies. You know what I mean? People tend to love those movies, and now they're making another one, like a remake, because those movies or that franchise does so well, you know. And so, my feelings is pretty similar about the Sonic stuff. It's like, I don't know, we'll see. I designed some robots. We'll see how those robots turn out, if they kept them or not. But I did say, I remember when I saw that, I think I was talking to Miyako about it in our stream chat. I was telling her, I was like, yeah, you know, if I was asked to design Sonic, I wouldn't have designed them that way. Like if they were to do a live
Wait,
action
you
one.
talking about Micah?
Yeah. Like I think
What
I
the
would.
fuck did you say?
Yeah, Micah. Micah?
No, you said
I
you
think
said
I-
something way different.
Yeah, I think I gave it another syllable. My bad.
Anyway, sorry. That's funny.
so my point is that like I tend to I would have designed it differently, but for it to then be picked, who knows? Nobody knows. It's hard to paint a face in symmetry. Symmetry on automatically. That would be easier. Also was mistaken. But yeah, like I I don't really care. I think I'm still watching the movie because I do love Sonic. If the trailer is really clear to me that it's not going to be good, right? Like the ways that I can tell if it's not going to be good is if the jokes themselves or the lines are incredibly cheesy. Like they have to be like the kind of stuff that was found in the video game. Because the stuff in the video game was super cheesy.
I mean, it's either going to be bad or it's going to be so bad that it's good.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be good though.
Yeah, I think the Aquaman movie is a good example of this from what I've heard. Like DC realized, you know what, fuck it. Let's just like nosedive into this idea of like these movies aren't supposed to be so damn serious, you know? Especially with Aquaman, you know? And so they were just kind of like, all right, fuck it. We're just gonna like see how it goes. And people are actually like saying that this is amazing. Like they finally get it. Like nobody wants this serious fucking shit anymore. It worked for The Dark Knight or Batman because it makes sense with Batman, right? I mean, it makes perfect sense with Batman because Batman is kind of a drama queen, you know? But with all the other characters, it's like it was hard. It was a hard sell. Oh, that's always a problem. I should just put it behind like a white background.
I hear
But yeah.
good things about the Spider-Man movie. The Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, me too. And the part with the Spider-Man that's like a duck or something, like or a pig.
Oh yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be hilarious. And I remember like I was in the theater and some people were just
Spider
like,
Pig.
people are like, what the hell is a pig doing this? You know? And I was like, oh, I get it, dude. This is great. This is gonna be great. Like they know who their audience is. You know? And like I was watching Adventure Time with my kids yesterday. It's like that kind of stuff. It's just like really just fun, you know? And but with Spider-Man. And I think the guys who are directing it are the same guys who did like the Lego movie, the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Those guys are in my opinion are hilarious movie directors. Like they're perfect. They did 21 Jump Street, the first one I think, and the second one, but they did a better job on the first one. Like they totally get it, like how to make fun movies, you know. And so I think that they're going to it's going to do well. I think people are going to like it a lot, especially kids. They were supposed to direct the the Solo movie. You hear about this? And but I guess because the director's like, oh, it's too comical, right? It's like way too funny, and it's like way too slapstickish. Like this needs to be more, adventure and whatever. I think they made a mistake. They should have kept whatever they were doing.
Should have trusted him.
Yeah, because if you look at like Thor Ragnarok, like the same thing happened, right? They got like this comedy director to direct like an action, like a movie, like an action movie from Marvel, based off like a Thor, like Thor, like God of Thunder, and all this kind of crazy stuff. And that's like become one of the most beloved movies. Like people forget, like there is a real market for movies that are just fun. Like you just go watch them and they're just a lot of fun. They have a lot of humor, a lot of charm, and not trying to be super uber serious. You know what I mean? And I'm a big fan of that genre of movies too, like movies that are just amazing. They're just hilarious.
No fun allowed.
No? Oh, my bad. My bad. I was wrong. Yeah. So yeah, but I don't really care. I'll wait till the movie comes out and then we'll see how the movie does. Like I said, I can tell more if it's going to be doing well or not, or it's going to be great, or it's going to be trash from the movie trailer, and specifically the second movie trailer. Usually, the second movie trailer gives me the most information.
Has anybody seen Dark City?
Dark City, yeah.
Is that like a one of those cult classic movies?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was actually good too. I don't think it was. It was a cult classic. Usually movies are cult classics because they're not that good, but like people tend to still love it because for whatever reason. Right?
Because I had it downloaded for the longest time, but I still haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's some people actually said that the Matrix kind of stole that same premise from Dark City, but then people then said Dark City stole their premise from another movie about like alternate realities. One of those things. But I remember watching it. It is pretty good.
Okay, that's good to know. Maybe over the weekend.
Yeah, it was good. At least I liked it. I haven't seen it in a while, so it might not be good. A good example of a movie that I haven't seen in a while, and then I watched it again, and I was like, oh yeah, this doesn't hold up, is the first Rambo. Yeah, the first Rambo is hot garbage. But I think because I had like fond memories of like the second Rambos and stuff like that, like the other ones, I just never equated.
Well, it's funny because the first Rambo is supposedly the only one that stayed true to the idea of the franchise. That was actually supposed to be about like a PTSD or that, not just like an action flick.
Totally. And that's why it doesn't hold up. Because it's like an era piece, right? So like, let me set it up for you. So Rambo comes back from the war, giving letters to his friends, like family. It's pretty sad. You're like, oh, that sucks. He goes to a small town, and the sheriff's like, hey, we don't want your kind in here. Okay. So he picks him up. He drives him out of town, and then Rambo's like, oh, you found my way out. You do my thing, and then he walks back into town. And Kyle's like, didn't I tell you to stay out of here? And then he grabs him, puts him in jail. It's like a whole thing. Okay. So now Rambo's in jail. It's like a whole thing. And and then like they started like treating him like a real bad criminal or something. Like they started like hosing him down. They like make fun of him. It's like this whole thing, it like escalates really quickly. Okay. And then Rambo like somehow gets away. He's like runs for his life. He's like being mistreated by these cops, and he's running and running, and they're all chasing him and stuff like that. And then eventually gets to the point where one of the cops is like trying to snipe him when he's like climbing on a mountain, like trying to snipe him. And Rambo's only crime was just walking into this town. Okay, don't forget this.
Well, and being a war vet, right?
Well, this is the thing. Like nobody kind of makes this clear. This is just from the perspective of the movie. You should already know that this is a thing, right? But I didn't think about this. Okay,
But that's really weird.
yeah, like they don't set it up as like people don't like war vets. They just say we don't like this guy, regardless of whatever he's coming from. But even if they said they didn't like war vets, right? Like even if I missed something, it escalates quickly, all right? And the guy like tries to snipe him, he misses and he falls out of the helicopter, right? Even when he's about to snipe him, the helicopter driver is like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you trying to kill somebody? You know? It's like a misdemeanor crime when like what he did. It's like, oh, I'm gonna kill him. If you turn this helicopter out, I'll kill you too, right? And then he falls out of the helicopter, the cop dies. And he probably deserved it. He's a bad cop trying to snipe freaking people for just anyway. And then that's when Rambo decides to like create all those traps and like, you know, really mortally wounds all these cops. They're trying to catch him, you know. And then his old colonel like is like, you don't get it. Rambo's like crazy. Like he was one of the best on the team, you know, setting up the parameters of the situation. And sure enough, like he ends up like setting the whole town on fire, right? It's like the whole town now is like emblazed. And then eventually the colonel finds I keep saying Rambo. And then Rambo's just like, they drew first blood. They drew first blood. They drew first blood. And then that's when I was like, oh, Vietnam War vet. I get it now. They don't like him because he was part of a war that we didn't really like, you know?
But
And
the weird thing is, I don't remember like there being a huge outcry from like law enforcement. That was more like a people thing.
no, if you watch the movie, you'll see what I'm talking about. You're like, what the?
I haven't seen this movie. I don't watch a lot of
That
movies.
sounds so crazy.
And like from your explanation, AJ, it sounded more like I thought you were going to come to the conclusion that, and then you find out, oh, war vet, PST, none of that stuff was actually happening. Like,
no, he
the
just
guy in the helicopter was never trying to shoot at him. He just like has PTSD. He's like, oh no, they're on him.
That would make the movie
Run around
better.
the town,
No,
like
so
freaking out.
yeah, the moral of the movie was basically saying like, you know, like these soldiers are soldiers, you know, they didn't necessarily want to go to Vietnam, right? The government made them go,
My idea's better.
right? Like that was like kind of the message is like they're people too, and that's probably why Rambo did well, was to kind of
It's a
remind
fine
people, like, you know, soldiers are also are humans, and we need to worry about like, yeah, and like PTSD is like a thing, like shell shock, you know. It brought more awareness to that, if that makes sense. But in the context of me like watching it like on Netflix, you know, like in 20, like I don't know what it was, like a year or two ago, it was just like, what? What's going on? Like a more timeless story that this has been told is like a black guy going into an all white town or something. Then I would know, I get what's going on. They just don't like him because they're racist. Cool. But like Rambo's like white. I'm just like, what? And like he did nothing. It just makes no sense at all. And but then I was like, oh yeah, war vet. People don't like war vets at that time because they were like calling them baby killers and stuff like that. Yeah, it was a bad time, American history, sure. But I just didn't see the.
Oh yeah, the only time.
it was rough, but in the context of the war, it made more sense. I just didn't see it immediately. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway,
I gotta say the saturation really works for that painting.
saturation.
Yeah, the saturation was good.
You know nothing.
That's my opinion.
You know nothing, Jon Snow. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Any other questions? I think I made my chick too ethnic. They're just gonna have to deal with it. It's a good movie, man.
I got an unrelated thing, but someone's got some related. Go first.
Need more reference. I want to do good jobs.
Okay, I do have one question, and not really sure how to phrase it though. So
It has to be phrased perfectly, or I won't take it at all.
that's what I figured. Um,
Don't you know already? I only take perfectly phrased questions.
but it has to do with thumbnails, and it's something you had been telling me. I think it was last class about like make sure your thumbnail's clear. That way, like it's a lot easier when you get into the render stage. And then you had touched on like how when you paint, you start like zoomed up, like this one you're working on right now. And like I said, I don't really know how to phrase this as a question, but I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit of a problem with doing like a head to toe zoomed out character because like there's just a limit to how much clarity you can put because like how small is your brush going to be, you know? Like I try to stay zoomed out.
Is there a limit?
Is that the question? I don't know.
Well, I'm asking you back. I'm asking to see if you really believe there's a limit.
Oh, like I mean, I feel like zoomed out allows you to see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So I like to do that for the thumbnail stage, but it definitely makes it lack clarity. I don't know. Am I answering my own question right now?
I mean, you know me, man. Try to see if you can answer your own question by a little bit more thought. So my question to you is, if you feel that thumbnails are hard to draw clarity, is it because it is impossible, or is it because you haven't tried something different?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't think that it's impossible.
All right.
I just
so
feel like
then,
you would lose the benefit of seeing the whole picture if you did start like getting bigger.
yeah. So you're saying you can get clarity potentially sooner if you just are smarter? Like, here, let me explain it to you by demonstration. I do like her face wider or skinnier. Anyway. Okay, so let me see if I can do the impossible. Design a whole character zoomed out with clarity on my mind.
Dude, it's not clear enough. No.
Get out of here. So I think a better way of thinking about your question, or thinking about at least the solution to the problem, is that maybe you need to practice painting zoomed out more. And maybe you need a goal where you're not trying to go super detailed in a way that makes everything like, okay, let me think about this differently. Instead of thinking about clarity as super rendered, think about clarity as, oh, I know what that is, even if it's not fully rendered. Like, I know that's like a metal piece right there, right? I know that he's wearing some sort of tabard. I know that it's connected on the top and the bottom, like it drapes over.
Right, but a lot of these shapes, like when you got into getting closer, like depending on how you light them, could actually change their form quite a bit. Does that make sense?
I don't think so. Explain it again. So
well,
you're saying
okay,
that
so like just look at that shoulder pad, right? Like so you show that to the client and it's in this zoomed out state, and like, okay, that's cool. But then like you go in and you're like, well, I don't know, does it actually have a groove in it or not? Like, I don't know. Like, am I getting dude, it does have a groove. Okay.
Yeah, like you see a groove, right? I see a groove too.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't just render it out.
Oh yeah, see, that's what I would
I
do.
would actually make that groove a groove because that's what I see. It's clear.
Okay.
It's clear to me that's what it was. You're saying no, it's something else. Then that means you don't know what the hell you're doing. You're not clear on what you're drawing there.
Okay.
Does that make sense? When I
Yeah.
say clarity, it doesn't mean rendered. It means like if it looks like okay, let me give you an example. Like what do you think, like what kind of material do you think this area right here looks like?
Metal and fabric.
Me too. See, the fact that you and I can both see almost the same thing, that's clarity. You get it? This right here is a lot more ambiguous, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I need to clear that up. I'm gonna make that straight up cloth. How?
Okay.
I'm gonna make it a lot more matte feeling. And then I'm gonna make this metal piece look more metal. So there's even less confusion, right? I'm gonna make this cloth look more like cloth by throwing some folds in there. Now it's a lot more clear, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still zoomed the hell out anyway, ain't I? Now, if we zoom in, we can still see that it's like loosey-goosey, but this isn't going to change much. I still feel like I know what I'm looking at. You know? It's just that now I just need to clean up this edge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make this feel more metallic, because that's what I was going for, right? And then make this stuff look like more metallic. Does it make sense? I'm not confused. I may not know exactly how these details should be organized, but I'm not confused what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. I think I'm just too concerned with detail.
Yeah, I think so too, my man. And so, of course, you can get a sense of what things look like. And to answer your question of like, well, if things are zoomed out, you can't tell. Like, how do you know what a thing is? Well, I'll show you even a better example. And this is the kind of stuff that I did before, because I try to question what is the limits of my design. I mean, if you look at many of these already as thumbnails, right? They're tiny. They're super tiny.
Yeah, tiny
right?
pictures.
And you know exactly, almost entirely what they're all about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they are literally like small ass pixels, my dude. Right? Like if I were to just actually grab this pixel for pixel, right? Let's just grab that. And then let's throw this into this image, right? And then let's zoom in. Like there's like very low detail, isn't there? We're getting into pixel art now. This is something out of Mortal Kombat. But look what happens. Let's shrink it even more. Is it still confused? Are you confused, or are you still seeing some clarity?
Yeah.
Right, and it's even more lacking in detail, isn't it?
Oh yeah, like all the little things are gone.
Yeah. Right. Like when we see this, we see that he's wearing like some sort of leather armor. It's like some sort of Roman or Spartan type character wearing like these little tassels. He's got a sleeveless armor. It's got like a little gauntlet, right? And it's like made out of leather as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now this is obviously even more skewed of an image, but I'm just showing you like how well our brain functions on what is clear and what is not clear. That's what I'm trying to just demonstrate.
Okay. Yeah. So like, if you weren't happy with a form, it's your own fault for not making it.
Yeah.
In the
Like
thumbnail.
you made a roadmap that you don't know how to read, right?
Yeah.
Like you made like a blueprint that you don't know how to construct.
Which, yeah, I think comes into probably the other problem I find myself at least falling into is the just letting random strokes be there because they look cool, but like I don't actually know what they're doing as far as like, what they actually are.
Totally.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why I stopped using tools like alchemy, which are like are built for making random shapes. I'm sure you may have heard of these types of tools, right? Like just like some like painting tools that will just throw a bunch of random abstract like fractal designs or something, and then you just kind of like be creative and try to come up with something, you know. I stopped using these tools for that reason alone. I didn't like the fact that I didn't know how the hell things were being made. Right? Like I didn't understand my own like monstrosity that I made with those things. Does that make sense? And so
Yeah, because that's kind of what it is. Like, it looks really cool, but as you get closer, like, what is that? Like, is it a face or a hand?
Yeah,
You don't even know, you know?
yeah. And so it's not that thumbnails can't be clear; it's that you're not clear in your thumbnails. Back to kind of
Okay.
my original assertion. And if you can't see your own thumbnails, that is user error, not error of like some visual limitation, as I just proved to you, right? Both
Mhm.
with my own painting and with photos. You know, not even with a painting, something that is photorealistic still looks photorealistic even when you pixelate it, right? When we see that image, we don't think, oh, that's a really good pixel art that looks almost photorealistic. We think the opposite, right? We think, oh, someone pixelized a photo,
Mhm.
right? So that information must tell you that, like, that limited amount of information organized in that way doesn't make us think that someone painted it or drew it. It makes us think that someone put an effect on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, like basically, like you could take like any photo, right? Like the reason why this doesn't look photoreal is because the proportions and stuff are not accurate, right? But it's deliberate. But if I wanted it to look photoreal, which I actually do want some sense of photorealism, but like if I were to show you something like this, and then I was to put a lot of filters on this, let's do some right here, smart blur, and then let's get rid of the colors. So we got rid of a lot of the details, right?
Mhm.
So then it just looks like a really cool effect on a photo, doesn't it?
Yo,
And
Anthony.
And if I were to say that I painted this, oh yeah, what's up?
I, I'd love to stay in and watch the demo, but I'm kind of dying of starvation, so I'm gonna go grab
Get
some
out of here.
food. Okay. Hey, buddy. Have a good one. Thanks.
Yeah, it's getting late.
Yeah,
I'm gonna probably stop after this last point. Yeah, later. Oh, I think Mike had something to ask too. I'll take that. But
Oh, it's not important.
okay. But the point I'm making is that, like, see how like this is super, like, still believable from afar, you know? And then if I like mess with it even further, you know, like get rid of all that, like the values and all stuff, and just keep the shapes of like her eyes and her mouth and her hair, you know,
Mhm.
it still looks like a photo that might have just been filtered, right?
Yeah.
That must mean that what makes something look like something has almost nothing to do with all that detail, right? And texture.
Right.
It almost implies that it's just really just the patterns and the
Yeah.
shapes.
It's all just
And-
shape language.
And that's exactly right. I had a friend who once asked me, he's like, hey, you know, if you could name like one thing that I would need to practice to get really good at to become like an amazing concept artist, he's like, what's the one thing that you think is the most OP thing that you've learned? And I told him it's shapes, right? So it's all about those shapes. And he was just like, what? No, can't be about shapes. It has to be. He thought it was something more more insightful, I guess, right? Like oh, it's about using the right brush, and it's
Mhm.
about like waking up 4 a.m. You know, no, it's just really good and accurate shape, like depiction. If you can do that really well, you can really impress people with your paintings. Whether you paint them really, you know, well, you know, or they are just are like stylized, you know.
Mhm.
It's really all about the shapes. And I learned that from a cloth study, actually. I was doing some studies from cloth and like street clothes, and I was recognizing like it was really hard to like just focus on the details. So it's okay, I'm just gonna like just get the shapes right, you know, and then I'll like get the details in later. That was like my strategy for this, because I was like really getting stressed out. And then and as I was doing that, I was like, whoa, like these shapes are pretty convincing already, you know. I felt like I already had a lot, like I had like 90% of the painting done, if that makes sense. and that was
Yeah.
like a huge epiphany for me. I was like, oh, it's all about them shapes, dude. You know. And then that's when I just started really focusing primarily on shapes. And then I started getting really good, much faster because of this. And so when I tell you like you should really like master your thumbnails, I really mean it. Like thumbnailing is the way I paint so quickly, because I like, even when I was blocking this out, I was blocking this out with major shapes, not with the detail. Now that I've got a more of a better sense of the shapes, now I'm starting to like put some love and tender into the details. You know what I mean? Nah, I mean. Yeah, this game's so good. I want to play it. I kind of want to start over so I can play with my kids. I think they're gonna like love it too, especially my daughter. I think she's gonna be like, "Whoa, what a magical world!" She's really into that stuff, just like her daddy. It's really beautiful game. It really has shown me the kind of games that I kind of actually want to make. Games that really like are just amazing presentations as much as they are games.
Yeah, the polish on it looks solid.
Yeah, I saw that there's some criticism because of like it's not much of a game, and I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
People cry baby all the time about games that are actually games, like the Call of Duties, the Battlefields, and the Fortnites. And then when a game comes out that's like trying to challenge that convention, they're like, it's not a game. It's like, all right, pick up.
People just like to complain.
Yeah, Mike.
Hey, I like drama. That's a complaint. I like watching the people complain. That's more accurate.
Yeah, that's right. Like you the guy who was talking about the tracing too. I was watching that video. He's actually really funny,
yeah.
man. I love that guy. He is pretty funny.
I saw a couple of his other videos.
He
You
did
see the one
about,
where he ruined Gia or whatever?
Yeah, that was the one that I was like cracking up.
Dude. I was like, oh god.
Like this is really good. I like that kind of stuff, like where it's kind of indirectly hitting like a group of people that are clearly just bad trolls. Like that everyone can get around. Like everyone likes punching down.
Put it like that.
And 4chan people are definitely people you want to punch down. Yeah, they are really the grunge of the earth. Like some of the comments, like, I want to be a big boy. I want to paint like 4chan. I was like, oh, dude, this guy.
Yeah.
Like
it's like big boys only. Like, what the fuck?
Stupid. Yeah, it's so stupid. Yeah, share that link in the Skype chat so everyone can watch that video.
Yeah.
That one's really funny.
My mom watches Big Brother and Survivor and all those shows, so I always grew up like around her watching that. And the only reason you watch that shit is for the drama.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and my uncle and my aunt watched Love and Hip Hop. So I don't watch that shit, but I watch the internet drama because
It's just in your bones now.
It entertains me. I like it.
It's in your bones. It's in your genes.
Yeah.
You just proved it to me. Your whole family, it's in your bones.
We're all degenerates.
No, you guys just like to watch degenerates. It's different.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna find this video for you guys.
Yeah, it's really funny, man. I loved it. His other stuff is pretty good too.
Just going through my follows.
Yeah, just type in like Ruin Jaya.
Oh yeah, 4chan.
4chan. Yeah, I think if you I think just those two will find it right away.
Yeah, it came up. D'Angelo Wallace.
Yeah, he's really funny. I was gonna find him and just like, hey, dude, keep making videos like this. Dude, it's great. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna keep painting on this, but I'm gonna stop here. So, peace out, friends. I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. Stay strong. Keep on practicing. Talk to you guys soon. Later. Yeah, share that YouTube in the Skype chat.
I put it in the Skype because this is going to disappear. Yeah, I figured it out. All right, bye.
Yeah, these chats actually are not gone forever. They're actually saved within the files too. So if there's ever a link that you guys like thought was in a chat, you guys can always go through the chat log. So anyway, that's my PSA. Latest, friends. Have a great one. Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it. Please subscribe to watch more in the future. If you like the video, I would appreciate a thumbs up. If you like this content, you can go to my website, robotpencil.net, where you can find mentorships, tutorials, and a Patreon to get more exclusive content. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in my next videos.